Welcome to another action-packed episode. Hold on to your butts. Morning roundup. Little owl headphone holder. This one's been kind of tricky lately. I used this and gotten iffy results. Don't know what I expected there. Here we've got our classic Socrates pipe holder. And we Prusa sliced the Dolphin, coming out nice and smooth. There we go. Oh yeah, this morning somebody messaged me wanting 20 solo cups, but they wanted them green, giant solo cups. And I told them that would be, I was kind of doing a deal since it would be really big, about $2,000. And they acted like that was kind of outrageous. But like on Etsy, you message from an items page or whatever, and then it shows you that they messaged you from this items page. And the item that they messaged me from was one of the drink cups, and it was, more than $100. In other words, they messaged me for 20 of something very similar to something I already sell that was over $100, and then they thought $2,000 was outrageous. Do with that what you will. Just cranking out the D20s. All the same, I may make like a big red solo cup. I kind of don't know why I haven't already. I mean, we have the drink cup, and it's pretty similar to a solo cup, but it's not exactly the same. Maybe we'll use this little incident as an inspiration to make one. Another D20. Most excitingly though, we're finally making the bacon. The last time we made the bacon, it messed up, but we've got both halves of bacon being made. And here's the other half of the bacon, and we are making yet another egg. Got our second micro Swiss. We're really gonna test to see whether it was the extruder motor in the old one, the first one rather. I feel pretty confident that I isolated the problem in our first direct drive upgrade to that motor. Also, people were saying maybe I didn't adjust the voltage, but the official instructions don't say to do that. And I watched several tutorials for this product and none of them adjusted the voltage. It's one of those things that you could imagine why you might want to adjust the voltage, but if they're not telling me to do it, I just feel like I probably shouldn't do it. The other thing that makes me think that is the little gear wheel was pretty easy to turn, like it seemed about as easy to turn that as like turning a normal extruder thing. So it's not impossible that there was a voltage problem, but nothing told me to adjust the voltage, and like these are the people that make it. It seems like they would know. Although many times we found out the manufacturers of products don't even understand their own products. Welcome to 3D printing. We're gonna get into this in a bit. I think we're gonna have a better result. Also, we're not gonna install it on that printer. I'm serious, I think it might be haunted. So I just looked, I double checked all the instructions. There's no thing about the voltage. It really must have just had a bad extruder. I mean, it even printed for like hours normally, so I don't know. It is Saturday, it is the weekend, and it is party time. Excellent. We're getting into that really nice weather. I think we're gonna start walking a little more. There is a taco truck pretty much right next to the house, one street over. They have amazing fries that are like, it's like poutine, but sort of Mexican themed. It's got like al pastor meat and stuff on it, and that's what we're getting. Normally I kind of try to stay away from carbs, at least carbs like that, but it's the weekend, we're having a little fun. This place is pretty good. There's a smoke shop right next to the house, and we've got our taco truck. I have like 3 different taco places, phone numbers saved in my phone. Man, I need to be looking at porch furniture still. I've kind of forgotten. It'd be really clutch to find something on Facebook Marketplace for like 50 bucks, like an outdoor furniture set, especially as it gets into the nice weather, which we are in. These things are like twice as good as they look. Man, just take that in. So good. Cojita. Okie doke. Well, what we're gonna do, first and foremost, we're gonna pull this guy out and we're going to actually test the stepper motor. This being brand new and factory sealed, there should be absolutely nothing that prevents this from rotating like it should. We're also going to do this with a totally neutral machine. We preheated this CR10 mechanically as far as it does the stepper motors. This is the same as an S5. We're just going to plug this in real quick. We're going to go to move axis and then the extruder. Okay, for some reason, it takes a really, really long time to adjust the E-steps on this one. All right, this is weird. We adjust the E-steps to 400 like you're supposed to, and it's kind of doing the same thing over here. So here's the one that's functional. It's hard to tell, but this thing is spinning around like it's supposed to. Oh man, do I even want to try and touch the gear? Yeah, there's no clicking. There's nothing. So we're gonna go back through the installation instructions here, but I know for a fact that it didn't say anything but adjusting the E-steps. This is all just, you know, putting the thing together. Yep, there's a bit here about the 400 E-step thing, but we did that. That's pretty strange. It is the model that's meant for CR10s. We just did it on 2 CR10s, and it's just clicking and being weird. All right, it's possible that the voltage it's giving the extruder for some reason is lower than the others. So we're going to move the X-axis, make sure this works, and it does work. Taking the X-axis plug into this. Okay, interestingly, we are getting a different bad result. It is also doing sort of a clicking thing. Maybe the polarity of these motors is different. On the Tronxy printers I used to have, there were stepper motors that would kind of do this when we tried to put them on Creality motors. But the thing that's crazy about that, this is marketed as for these printers. That's what it says. And plus, I have one that is working on one of these printers. That's pretty weird. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a version of these that's meant for another type of printer was put in a package that says CR10. Why would that be? Okay, I did a little digging. We have the classic 4-pin connector there. I think if I take this and flip it upside down and somehow plug it in that way, I think that might be the problem. It says that the stuff I've read says that might fix it. So we're gonna see if we can do that. Okay, we plugged this in upside down and it vibrated a slightly different way. So figure that one out. So logically, the fact that it's clicking tells us that obviously power is getting there, but it's going to the wrong coils or components or whatever. So there are only 4 wires that go into this plug. The fact that none of the documentation says to change the voltage means I'm not going to mess with that yet, although if we do this and it doesn't work, maybe we'll try it. But there's only so many combinations that 4 wires can have. So we're going to try different combinations. We're going to take the little pins, which are pretty hard to see on this. We're going to de-pin the 2 middle wires. We're going to switch those like this. Then we're going to try it. If that doesn't work, we'll try every other combination. In fact, what we're going to do is color code this. It's a little hard to see, but we put some colors, and the one that's just black is its own color. Black is really more of a neutral than a color, but who's going to split hairs? So yeah, you can see we got the little pins there. Should be not that hard to de-pin these. We fanned out the wires somewhat, but that was actually not that hard. So we're just going to switch it with the other center one there. There we go. Got both of them. The way it was arranged last time, the green was right next to the orange like it kind of is now. So we're just going to switch those around. There we go. Switched it around. Now these middle 2 pins are a little on the loose side. So if this works, we'll probably glue them in place or something like that. I wish I had like hot glue, but you know, a little normal glue which should work. Maybe some super glue. Still getting buzzing. Okay, so we flipped the middle two wires and it didn't work. To me, that indicates that the middle two wires must be some coil and the outer two wires have to be another coil. So I guess the thing is we're going to flip one of the middle wires with one of the outer wires. All right, let's flip the black one with the orange one. And we did it. All right, that doesn't work either. All right, so this does have 6 pins. The extension cord has 4 pins. What could be the problem here? Okay, so this is really stupid and annoying, but this has 4 wires. This has 6 pins. Now most stepper wires have 6 pins, or most stepper motors have 6 pins as far as I know. We're just gonna try different combinations of these 4 plugged into this connector in different ways until we get something that works. Because that's where we're at right now. Now, why would MicroSwift give me this extension cord with this pin out if it doesn't work? I don't have any friggin' idea. This is marketed for the kind of printer I have as a plug-in, play, a drop-in replacement. I followed the instructions exactly. I don't know why I would have to change the pin out of the cord. I probably shouldn't have to, but that's what we're about to do. Because that's what we're about to do. We already ordered 2 of these things. I don't think a 3rd one is going to fix it. Okay, I'm almost documenting this just so I remember what I did. We have 6 pins. The original was the orange was over here. So we're going to go orange and then black, blank. These 2 are going to be filled and the last one will be blank. You know what, I think we're just gonna put the plugs, these connections on the pins themselves, because we might have to do this in a lot of combinations. All right, it's a little hard to tell, but that's what we just did. Well, at least we have a different result this time, nothing. All right, different combination. Also nothing. Okay, the next idea was to take the guts out of a stepper motor and put, you know, a stepper motor that the pinout works into the direct drive, but I can't get this thing out of it, and it doesn't seem like it's designed to be able to come out, so that doesn't work. Now, normally what I would do after this is I would just replace this stepper motor, but you can't get to all the screws. I mean, I guess maybe we could undo these, and then we'd be able to undo these. You know what? These shaft diameters, or the shaft lengths, are really different. Theoretically, you could create some kind of shims, but man, I don't even know. I don't even know if I want to try and do that. Okay, we detached it from the backing plates. As you can see, I cannot think of any way of getting to that screw. The metal thing is just too tall, too close to it. And I guess this just doesn't have a screw there. Man, why can't anything just be easy? Yeah, even when you try to fit it in like this, there just isn't enough room. All right, I think it's basically hopeless at this point. However, I have the old control unit for those Trunksy printers that were horrible. The stepper motors that this used were different and incompatible with the stepper motors that the CR10s use. I think I can plug this in and connect stepper motors with it. You know what? I forgot. We'd have to rewire up the mains and stuff. And the thing is, even if I could get this to turn the direct drive stepper motor, I don't know how we would get that to work with a CR10. I don't think we could. Yep, that was the last thing I could think of. Well, we know it doesn't have anything to do with the printers. We've used 4 different printers to try to turn this motor correctly, and it didn't work. However, at first it did with the first direct drive. Doesn't have anything to do with E-steps. There's the whole voltage thing, but like none of the instructions say to change the voltage, and none of the tutorials say to change the voltage. We did everything that the instructions and the tutorials said to do. Oh man. We can't get the stepper motor out. We can't replace the back of the stepper motor. I thought about trying to connect the shaft of this somehow to the shaft of another stepper motor. But that's not gonna work. The reviews for this item are full of printers that looked just like mine. One of the reviews even said that it fit their S4, you know, a lot like my S5. All right, I can't believe we couldn't make that work. I've spent all day working on that thing. We ordered 2 of them, and I can't get either of these freaking things to work. We tried every single pin combination. We tried it on 4 different printers. I don't know. We're just gonna return them, and I'm getting this official Creality one that's 40 bucks. It doesn't look as nice, but it does have the 3-to-1 gear ratio or whatever. Yep, that's what we're doing. All right, we gotta do something else today. Oh man, I'm getting a stress headache. I honestly just cannot believe it. I can't believe we couldn't make this work. It is for CR10s. I can't go on and on about this. Like it's just making me freaking crazy. I can't believe it. It's the same one. It's the same one on the printer I have that is working. All right, yep. We're gonna package them up. And return them and get our money back. Man, what a misadventure. All I ever wanted to do was just print things. In other news, Bitcoin continues to go down after I sold. I mean, that's no guarantee that it will continue to do so over the long run, but so far, looks like the right call. For what it's worth, I heard that there were more liquidations yesterday. Man, it seems like it's been more than one day. There were more liquidations yesterday than the entire history of Bitcoin. In other words, more selling. Well, it's liquidations, it has to do with shorting. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how you calculate that, but there was more of whatever that was than ever before in the entire history of Bitcoin. In other words, more people sold when I sold, I think, than ever in history. Okay, just to go the extra mile, I just watched 3 installation instructions and reviews on from different YouTube channels. They did all the same things I did. None of them mentioned anything else. I don't know what to do with that information, but we did what we needed to do. I am giving up. Hopefully the direct drive upgrade that I got specifically from Creality for the printer I have will work. I can't imagine that it wouldn't. But I've seen crazier things. Okay, check this out. Here's a standard stepper motor right here. Just your garden variety stepper motor. We had the other extruder thing put on it. We're moving axis and it is turning normally. Now we are going to attach to this the extension cord thing that came with the micro Swiss. Now this is a 3rd extension cable. It is not the ones we've been using. Now we're gonna do the thing. It's buzzing. This extension cable, one I haven't used before, turned this from functional to non-functional. So let's try, instead of this, the micro Swiss upgrade. When we were normally plugging it into this, it did not work. Let's do the move axis. Look at that. It's hard to tell, but it is moving perfectly. It is, I have to do it again. This only goes so far. It's moving perfectly. After all of that, what we figured out, this is what we figured out. Here's what the problem was the whole time. This extruder extension cable, the first one, was the wrong kind. This extension cable reduces the polarity. Now, why switching the pins out didn't work with the last one we did, I have no idea. But this is just a stock cable. This is the second extension cable, and it works. This makes it work. So somehow or another, this extension cable reverses the polarity. That doesn't exactly make sense because the pins look like they're kind of the same, but whatever. After all this time and effort, we got at least one of these micro Swiss direct drives to work. I don't know why this cable made it work, but the other one didn't. And I'm not even going to ask questions at this point. You know, maybe what it was is like there's two polarities of extension cable, and in the first package they just gave us the wrong one. Whew. See, this is why you stick with problems for a long time, because this feels like an episode of House, actually. I'm basically Dr. Gregory House, except with 3D printers. Turns out it was lupus. This is the aha moment at the end of an episode of House. It's like when the guy's dying the whole time and they figure out he's wearing the wrong shoes or something. Yeah, I wasn't gonna mess with this anymore, but if we can get the extruder to work, I'll install it and get it printing tonight, because I am ready. The body is ready. All right, I'm just letting the motor turn over for a while just to make sure it's not something it's gonna stop doing suddenly. I figure if it goes around a bunch of rotations, that's a good indicator. I just want to say, this is like the realest 3D printing show on YouTube. Who's gonna show you this? Like, everybody wants to act like it's all just figured out, and like all these videos are like, man, it's so easy. It's so easy to make money in 3D printing. I'm not saying I haven't chosen kind of a difficult path. There are easier things to do. I get it. I'm just saying, like, nobody's gonna show you this, okay? This is as real as it gets. I spent like a solid half a day trying to figure out how to make this work, because I know it should work. And really, like, that's what it was. It was the cable. It was just that cable that's included with it. Ugh. It's so stupid. Yet, I'm grateful we figured it out, even if it took all friggin' day. This is what you get on this show. I'm showing you what I really did, and what I really did was F around with some stupid direct drive unit all day long. Basically losing my mind, and it's just a cable. It's just the cable they included was bad. I tried all this stuff. We ripped apart a stepper motor, and it was just the cable. We're gonna install that in a second. I'm letting the hot end cool off a bit before we start handling it, of course, because we gotta like put it all together. That was it. It was just a cable. You know, I was thinking, we tried all the different pinouts, but one thing that wouldn't explain, one possible thing that happened is like one of the wires or something was messed up. Like, not the pins, because I could see that they were connecting and stuff, and we tried every combination there is. It, like, one of the wires, maybe it was on the other end of the cable, you know, that was messed up. Something with the wires itself was messed up, because it didn't work initially either. Yep, it was just the cable. All right, we're gonna let it cool off, then we're gonna reassemble the whole thing. Another thing that makes sense with the cable getting messed up or something, it was working initially. It's the only thing that changed, really, is the cable. When I put a new cable in, it starts working. It's got to be the cable. Well, here goes nothing. All right, so for some reason this extruder motor isn't turning, but when I plug it into this one, which, you know, is identical, it does turn. So this one was working before I hooked it up. Now this one's working. Okay, now it's clicking. Okay, I reversed motor direction and now it's going fine. So this little wheel thing, it'll turn and turn and turn, but after a few turns, it's stuck on something. Alright, we're giving up on this for today. It was working. This motor was turning just fine. We did the steps and everything. Oh man, and this thing's working but doesn't go past a certain point. F this. Alright, last thing of the day. I opened up the back of the stepper motor and kind of cleaned it. I didn't really feel much debris, but afterwards, when I put it back together, this is turning much more smoothly and it doesn't stop at any point like it was before. So I think we can just swap this for the equivalent part in that, and this will probably work tomorrow. But if it doesn't, I'm just giving up. We still got that other direct drive coming, and hopefully that'll just that'll just work. Hopefully that'll just work. Well, this was one of the most unsatisfying days I've ever had. I mean, at the end of the day, I did get one of the stepper motors to turn. It would only turn so far and then it would get stuck. But after cleaning it out, it's not doing that, which means I can probably just plug it in and we'll probably have one. And then maybe we just return the other one if I can't get it to work, but I'm pretty much just not gonna mess with it. If I can get one of these to work, that'll be it. I felt like I learned a lot today though. I'm not sure I did, but I feel like I did. Okay, join the Discord link below. Man, a lot of comment. Look, at the beginning of the day, I was thinking about responding to every single one of these points, but Dash Render posted very helpfully, man, more than a dozen possible things. So this was very creative. I have to give Dash Render props, because this is like stuff, this is all stuff that would almost never happen, but theoretically could be possible. Really, like, this episode was like an episode of House MD, because this is the, I'll read a couple of these. I was going to go through every single one. Heat sink fan stopped or clogged, leading to thermal runaway behavior if firmware errors could cause retract instead of shut down. Like, that is a thing that could happen, but it's definitely not what happened, and it wouldn't happen on 4 different printers at the same time. This is all interesting stuff, and I actually considered all of them, but all of them can be pretty much eliminated by the fact that I did it on 4 different printers, and some of them were eliminated by the fact that it would work a stepper motor, a normal stepper motor, perfectly, and then be weird on the one with the direct drive. Because like some of the stuff is like current wouldn't be getting to the motor and that would cause it to be strange, but then like why would it be okay with another motor? This is very, very long. I'm not going to read them all, but I did read them all earlier, and I guess Dash Render, know that I appreciate that you put this together, because this would be like a ton of work. I'm just too mentally fried to reiterate all the things I thought about earlier. Oh, and then some of these things are explained by, or are eliminated because I recalibrated the E-steps or whatever. Mopar dude, maybe you could go see everyone that follows you and does 3D printing while you're visiting the different cities. That would be pretty fun. Yeah, I like do in-person interviews. J-Man, what are you using to display your real-time stock charts? TradingView. TradingView is generally, I guess it's probably the industry standard. Oh yeah, JP Letty with the fire comments. So I went out for seafood the other day and couldn't help but noticing those places have a lot of plastic sea creatures all over the place. Big shrimp, crabs, and fish everywhere. Food for thought. Yeah, that's a good point. It'd be fun to make some crabs. It kind of goes with the sea theme. Sharks, whales, dolphins. Ambassador Naranek. Road trip to Scotland should be top of the list. And then he used an M3 emoji. Yep, I'm an emoji. Daniel Sebastian. Also, I think you should take your Bitcoin proceeds to the casino. Put it all on 0-0. Nope. Let's just put it this way. I'd have to feel a whole lot luckier to do that, and I do not feel that today. Got a bunch of comments on my sticks video. By the way, I don't normally say this, but I put a lot of work into the sticks cover we posted on the channel. If you're watching this, it's probably the last video I uploaded. I really would appreciate you guys checking it out. Put a lot of work into that thing, and you know, re-recorded the whole track and mastered it and EQ'd everything. It's more work than it even seems like, so please check it out. Kenetoros or Kenethoros, that was awesome, great job. Would love some lights during the performance. I need to get some operated with my feet. That'd be cool. JP Luddy again. Great job. I love me some sticks. Very cool. Mopar dudes, loving it. Sticks sounds good, and I don't think they're ready for 3 of you at once, LOL. 1 is enough to handle. By the way, the Sticks song was the first one that got a copyright, not strike, but it shares revenue or whatever, which means basically I don't get very much. But that's never happened before. It's probably because I used drums from the original track and it could kind of tell. It's an obscure song, so I was a little surprised it even picked up on it, but Guy the Jedi, on the last video, did you recalibrate your E-steps? Yes. Crypto Finders 6377, that's fun. Hello mate, do you have to paint them yourself, mate? Yes, I show that usually. Joseph's story, what current are you sending to the new extruder? You know how to set that on those old driver boards, right? You need a multimeter. Yes, I have a multimeter. Yeah, if I remember right, the drivers have those little things that you turn. Like I said, none of the instructions said to do that. Plus, I mean, by the end of today, we got one of them working, so, you know, there's that. You know, it occurs to me, the original problem the extruder upgrade was having was it was clicking. And like, that's because it would only rotate so many times before getting caught. But then it stopped doing that when I cleaned out the inside of the stepper motor, and now it's not doing that. Maybe that was literally the original problem. I don't know. I can't figure it out because like, there's also, it's like we had 2 problems. We had that problem, and we had the cord problem. We proved that we had a cord problem. That's what it is. Those are the 2 fundamental problems we faced over the last 2 episodes. Yeah, it's really, really kind of rare that you have 2 different problems. Pretty sure it's still lupus. Apollos 5184, what comes to mind for me with retracting instead of extruding is bad or corrupt G-code? I think we're going to roll that out because I'm just using the same G-code we always use, and it works on other printers. Probably killed the stepper if you didn't adjust the current. Well, I guess we can rule that out now, or at least for one of them, because it's working. Rich Gardens, this can happen with boards. 1 or more stepper drivers could be overheating. The heat sink compound that holds the heat sinks on the drivers could be failing. There could be a bad solder joint on one of the chips. Swap out the control board. If only I could. We had a whole, longtime viewers will remember, we had an entire arc just trying to find control boards that would work. And ultimately, I just never found one. It's the thing that sucks about these printers is they don't make them anymore, and they don't make a lot of the stuff for them anymore. But whatever. I can't think about this for like 1 more second. What am I grateful for today? I've been meaning to say it for a long time. This chair. This chair is pretty comfortable. It's exactly what it looks like. It looks like that chair that your grandma had for like 50 years. I'm glad I can just relax for the rest of the day. It sucks that we didn't get anything done today. I made filament, but I didn't get anything done today. At all. That's a strange feeling. I guess I'm grateful that I'm ahead of the game enough that I could be essentially non-productive for the entire day. And I'm still gonna be all right. Ugh. Man, my brain is fried. I can't even think about anything. But you can, so write down in the comments what you are grateful for today. Check out the new sticks video. It's rock and roll. Feel really good about it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for taking the journey. Even if there's days like today that are just incredibly uninteresting. We drop the goodness, or sometimes the mediocrity, every day. You are the Gratitude Gang. Peace out.
Stay around you. I can't say what I need. It's blinding our lessons. I'm seeing to standing in a moment. What has been is cast aside, frozen there as time rode. I know that you must have died. Find me something free. Empty my possessions. Everything I need. Through emotions. And we're all going to die. So leave me something precious. Another glimpse of light. Surround you. Open up your light. Time to say a Wiedersehen.